Hello. Hot off the presses, you'll remember last week, like I recorded the episode on Thursday night, and then well, I always recorded on Thursday night, but Grays, which is building the tools and kind of economics for Blue Sky, wound up getting written up in TechCrunch on Friday after I'd already recorded and I couldn't share that news with you on the podcast, but now I've shared it. So there's that's done, and I've shared it on the blog and in the newsletter and all this kind of thing. So congratulations, Grays, on the TechCrunch stuff. But here's another one, hot off the presses, like literally right before I was getting ready to record. I learned that at the Metro Region Innovation Hub, the Portland Metro Region Innovation Hub for all the innovation and connections and wayfinding in the Portland area, which has been existing with a single navigator, now has two navigators. So in addition to Carrie Doherty, we now have Pat Chung has now been hired as an additional navigator for the Metro Region Innovation Hub. This is, I think, a great hire in grabbing Pat Chung. Pat Chung, full disclosure, served as a mentor in residence for Pi pre-pandemic. He's raised money, had a successful exit, been through Techstars, started any number of meetups in town and connected people and all those kind of things. And so I think this is a great add to the Metro Region Innovation Hub team. I will put some more thought to it and write up something more significant. But I think Pat has a specific point of view on the Portland startup community as someone who moved here from LA and was trying to get connected, realized the difficulties or the opportunities. You know, I always remember meeting Pat. Pi was at central office in the Pearl. Pat was there day in, day out, working in kind of the hot desk space at central office. And, you know, as co-working spaces do, wound up talking to Pat, figuring out what was what, and just really appreciated his perspective and really, like, he wanted help. He wanted to get engaged. He was a mentor for Pi, wound up again being a mentor in residence, which means he was there. This means he was there every single day, hanging out with the startups, providing feedback, giving them reality checks about what was what. And so I'm really psyched to see Pat move into this role at the Metro Region Innovation Hub, where he will have direct contact with startups, founders, trying to find their way through the Portland startup ecosystem and community, and can't wait to see what both he and Carrie, under the guidance of Assad, wind up doing. I'm going to keep doing this whether you like it or not, but if you happen to like it, maybe, just leave a like. You don't have to subscribe. Yeah, that's fine. Just leave a like. That's enough. Low commitment on your part. Good feedback on my part. Leave a like. Okay, so I was kind of surprised by the Grays news. I was totally surprised by the Pat news. One thing I don't want to surprise you with is the February 11th event celebrating Black founders for Black History Month. You know, folks who've been through Pitch Black or Pi or Built Oregon or those kind of things, Vanport Studio. A variety of conversations with a bunch of founders who have had really interesting journeys. Like, unfortunately, that event is sold out. But there are a few surprises in place. So if you would like to attend this event, and you're like, well, it's sold out. What am I going to do? Get on the wait list, please. Just like if you want to attend, get on the wait list. If your plans have changed, please change your RSVP so those people on the wait list can get into the venue. We have a surprise coming on Monday for any folks who are planning to attend. And then, potentially might also have another surprise on Tuesday for everyone whether you can attend or not. So we'll see. Like, it's still iffy. We haven't completed all the testing and tech yet, but potentially we will have a surprise for everyone on Tuesday. But on Monday, definitely, if you're in attendance, if you've RSVP'd and you're like, I don't know if I want to go or not, like Monday, stay tuned and there will be something dropping that will totally convince you to go. I don't know. Do you like food? Do you like really, really good food? Did you not get into like, all right, I'm not, there might be a food event coming up in February in celebration of Black chefs and mixologists and dessert making people. And I'm just saying, I don't want to reveal it. Just stay tuned till Monday. There may be a really interesting surprise. And again, I wish you could get in. I wish we had more room. I wish we had room for everybody, but we don't. But if you are like, I would really like to see what those founders have to say and what their journey has been, stay tuned till Tuesday. Put your name on the wait list. We'll get you some information then. Okay, cool. Really looking forward to this event. Really happy it sold out. Sorry we can't get everybody in there, but April 8th, we'll get everybody in there. Like, there will be no wait list. So long as you RSVP now, we will get you into the event. We'll figure out a venue big enough, whether it's like the Expo Center or the Rose Garden. They don't call it the Rose Garden. Moda Center, like whatever it is. Veterans Memorial Coliseum, the riverfront. I don't know what we're going to do, but just RSVP. We want everyone possible at the April 8th event, but we need to know how big of a venue to secure. And like, we want people from, it's not just Portland people. Like, if you're outside Portland, maybe make plans to come join us. There's still time. You've got a month to make plans about showing up here and still get the cheap ticket prices for the flights or the trains or what have you. Plan on being in Portland April 8th to join the Portland startup community, to just kind of like kick off. I know we kicked off the year. This is kick off like spring connections with people outside of Portland. Like, it would just be great to have you here. So please plan on being there. RSVP, you can do that now. And then, of course, as a reminder, did the February event, sold out. This is going to happen. There will be a March event, and we will open up RSVPs for that March event after the February event. So you can still RSVP for the April event right now. We'll get the March event out there and would love to see you there. But all that being said, love the energy and momentum in the Portland startup community right now. It's amazing. We just love to have you part of it. So join the meetup group and I'll link it up and all those things. And we will see you at an event in the near future. Another late breaking story landed Thursday, caught it on GeekWire. Other people are talking about it. Deep surface, not deep seek, deep service. That is like the hardest thing to say. Like, deep surface. I keep saying deep service. It's deep surface. Portland startup in the cybersecurity space. Exited, acquired. Great for those founders. They had raised about $1 million, I think, according to GeekWire. But the even better part of this story, from just maybe not better to you, but better from like a trivial knowledge, like, I want to say interesting things to my friends about things that are happening in the Portland startup community. Maybe I should do the whole podcast with this voice. No? Okay, cool. So the interesting thing from a Portland startup community standpoint is our friends at Voyager Capital have hit the trifecta for 2025. The year is barely a month long, and Voyager Capital has already seen Act On exit, they've seen Lytix exit, and now they've seen Deep Surface exit. So the Voyager portfolio has seen a number of exits in 2025. We'll see what that portends. Is portends even the right word? Portends for the future. But I think all by way of saying, like, Voyager has made significant bets in the Portland startup community. They're seeing a number of exits in 2025 from those bets, and that's the cycle, right? Like, we need investors to put down money to help companies grow and expand, and at some point there needs to be some liquidity event to put money back to those investors, and we've seen that happen 3 times for Voyager in 2025 in, I don't know, what is it, less than 38 days. So like, and you can't even count the beginning of January because you got like New Year's, and then you got like Epiphany, and then you got like the people don't really even get back to work until like, I don't know, like the 12th. So so you're seeing a lot of activity around the Voyager portfolio and the bets they've made, which I just think is really interesting and we should keep an eye on. So that's where we are. Another exit with Deep Surface. Congratulations to the founders on that exit. They hadn't raised a ton of capital. $1 million is still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, but not as stratospheric as some of the other startups we've seen that have exited recently. Congratulations to them and Voyager on the exit, and all the other investors and the founders and all that kind of thing. Look forward to keeping track of other Voyager portfolio companies to see what might happen in 2025. Okay, so Voyager had a trifecta of exits in 2025. A founder who had a significant exit for the Portland startup community and has been really super involved in the Portland startup community. Full disclosure, Pi alum, Pi mentor, Matt Ellis recently spoke at one of the startup conversations in the Couve. If you don't know Matt, he is the founder of Cloudability, which was a really successful exit. He's the current founder and CEO of 60 AI, which is one of the earliest AI pursuits in Portland, and is really like building, in his words, the LinkedIn killer using AI. Matt took the opportunity to sit down with some folks in the Couve in Vancouver, Washington, and chat with them about startup-y type things. I will totally link up that video because it's here on the YouTube, so I will link it up so that you can watch it. I encourage you to watch it every single time I hear Matt speak, even though I spent so much time. I love Matt dearly, but we spent probably far too much time together in Pi, far too many late nights. I always learn something from him every single time he presents. There's this new nugget of knowledge or guidance that he comes out with for founders. So I will link up that video so you can watch Matt and his talk. And just still really cheering for 60 AI and his vision and his concept. Cloudability was such a meaningful part of this kind of last era generation of startups that I remain, a fan of Matt and his work, and look forward to what 60 can do in this next generation of startups in this AI era. So please watch the video. You'll learn a lot from Matt. Great guy, great perspective on what you should do as a founder, like realistically, like no holds barred, no mythology, what it's like to be a startup founder. Matt is always great at kind of like revealing the truth about that. So please watch the video. Really glad that Dave Barkos and the folks at North Bank Innovation were able to capture the conversation with Matt, and it's well worth a watch, whether you're in Portland or anywhere else. Speaking of I was recently at an event where somebody came up to me before they went up to speak, and they're like, I don't know what have I built? Like, what have I built that I'm going to describe? Is it like an AI assistant? Is it an agent? Is it a co-pilot? Like, everybody's gunning for like, what should these helper AI thingamajig bot things be called? And there's no like clear differentiation. So like, one of the things that has happened recently in this whole space with a local company, it's a Bend-based company, been working in AI for a while. They're called Wiseox. You may have encountered Rosie, who is not going to use the term yet, who is one of those assistant-y type things that are built with AI that are of a specifically trained, kind of function and brand that they're working on within the AI sphere. And all right, I like it. Cool. It's not so with Wiseox, it's not an assistant, it's not an agent, it's not co-pilot. It is an AI mascot. And what I love about this is like such a good branding and trademarking thing around AI mascot, which really to me it brings to mind the kind of like brand ethos and personality that you would like to have representing you in an AI that is communicating on your behalf. So Wiseox recently just announced this week, they announced that like some new features to the product, some new customers, but really like a specific definitive focus on assisted living, senior living. And that is something that I'm like, I always love old school kind of industries that maybe they're trailing edge, maybe they're rusting edge kind of things that may not like be involved with the latest and greatest technology, because the thing about established industries that have maybe not been keeping up with technology is they will often leapfrog. So they may be like old, like green screen DOS entry kind of stuff. And then suddenly, like, oh, AI mascots are the way for us to really get up to speed on things, and we can skip all the in between. And that's what Wiseox has seemed to really capitalize on. They have found a niche, whatever. They found a niche for their AI mascot companion personality bot thingamajig that really seems to work well with senior living, assisted living kind of facilities. They're helping with things not only internal machinations, but dealing with the population and support and that kind of thing. So I think Wiseox is really onto something. And if you're not familiar, just like Portland history wise, startup history, investor history wise, there was some significant capital created through assisted living in Portland that wound up funding a lot of startups in Portland. That is interesting from a probably purely trivial aspect, that there was an industry that was successful, and that industry is now funding the next generation of startups. So congratulations to Wiseox on the latest version of their AI mascots platform. Love that they've got new customers that they're announcing, and I continue to watch and be enamored of companies like Wiseox that look at seemingly old school industries, but that are really helping them leapfrog with technology. Every once in a great while, I get to sit down with an actual journalist. Like, I think I got some feedback on the Portland Startup Slack this week where I was like, I apologize. I think you're confusing me with a real journalist. I'm not a journalist. I just have a blog. I just write things and I talk to you about things. I'm not a real journalist. I'm just sharing information and my perspective. But every once in a while, I get to talk with real journalists, like editors of major publications. And that happened with Suzanne Stevens at the Portland Business Journal, who, based on our January networking event that we threw, I hope you were there. There were like 400 people there. It was great. But she had received some feedback from Malia Spencer, who, let me tell you, longtime fan of Malia Spencer, solid hire at the PBJ. I'm really glad she's there. I'm really glad she's providing her perspective on a regular basis now, not only tech startups, but also food and that kind of thing. Anyway, Malia had the opportunity to attend the January networking event, and that was great. I was glad she was there, obviously, and I think many people were glad she was there, obviously. Hundreds, probably 400 people were glad she was there. But Suzanne had been talking with Malia about the event, and Malia said some very nice things, and I'm humbled and taken aback by the things that Malia said about the event. But Suzanne's like, I got to talk to you. So let's talk about what's going on in Portland. She put up with my relentless, word vomit about the Portland startup community. And she's like, okay, all right, I talked to you for an hour. I think I can carve out like a few sentences of value out of this. But she wound up writing an editor's kind of opinion piece that featured some things that I said, and I was really honored to contribute to that. So if you want to know why I'm so bullish on the Portland startup community currently, Suzanne has written up a great piece. There may be more coming. Again, just a little teaser. Maybe some more PBJ content coming around the February 11th event, and maybe other stuff. There may be some other stuff in the works, maybe around the March event. What's the March event, you ask? Well, stay tuned. February event, there's definitely content coming. There will probably be some March content coming, and then there's some other stuff in the works with the PBJ, Portland Business Journal, to just share more about the startup community with you. It's always nice to have partners in the community who are willing to bring a journalistic perspective to what is occurring. And by journalistic, I mean purely objective, sometimes op-ed based. That's fine. But what I appreciate about journalists is they're not providing any fluff. They're like, this is what we see. This is what's happening. This is our objective perspective on things. And that is why I'm not a journalist, because I am far too opinionated on what's happening in Portland. So if you have the wherewithal, please subscribe to the Portland Business Journal. Not sponsored. I love they hired Malia. I love that they understand what's going on here. Demi Lawrence, she's a pretty solid hire too. But just I'm a big fan. Portland Business Journal. If you have the wherewithal, please subscribe, because they create a lot of really compelling content. And in all honesty, I can't say there's any better publication for tracking what's happening in the Portland startup community than the Portland Business Journal. I encourage you to support them so that we continue to have this great journalistic viewpoint on what's happening in Portland and the startup community. I don't know about you, but January seemed like there was a lot of stuff going on, but February has turned it up a ton. I don't know about you, But I am flustered but excited. Hope you're keeping up with the momentum. And until we get the chance to chat again, please keep up the good work.